If you've been feeling pulled towards something new, this episode is your confirmation. Hi, I'm Jamie, and this is Second Act Simplified, the show for women in midlife who want more clarity, confidence, and a next chapter that actually feels like theirs. Around here, we keep things real. There's no pressure, no perfection, just honest conversations to help you build a life that feels aligned with who you are now, not who you were 10 or 20 years ago. All right, let's get into today's episode. It's early December, and I swear this month is when the truth of life gets louder than ever. For some of you, life might be slowing down just enough for you to hear what's been going on under all the noise. Maybe you're feeling a small shift inside yourself. It might be really quiet. You're not alone. I know that when I hit the end of the year, going into the new year, I start thinking about what's next, what's coming, what do I want to do next? Something in you is trying to get your attention if that's how you feel. Because I have felt my own shift in the past, I want to sit down today and walk you through 3 signs that you are ready for a pivot in 2026. This isn't a dramatic leap or like burn your life down, reinvention. I just mean an honest pivot. It starts inside before anything happens on the outside. Let's talk through that and make some space for it. Our first sign is that you feel misaligned even when everything looks fine. Maybe you have a steady job, good benefits, you like your coworkers, but you're just not feeling fulfilled. And that doesn't mean that you're not grateful for what you have, because let's be honest, if you look around you, having a job is a wonderful thing, but that feeling is something you should pay attention to. Misalignment sneaks up on you. It doesn't happen overnight. It's something that takes time to build up. So maybe you notice on Sunday nights you have some dread or anxiety. You're doing the work, you're good at it. Maybe you just don't feel fulfilled or have that like, I feel alive or I'm excited to do that kind of feeling anymore. You hit your goals. Maybe you used to chase goals and you've hit them all. And instead of feeling proud, you're just kind of like, yeah, okay. If you feel like you're living someone else's definition of success and you can't pretend you don't notice that feeling anymore, this happens to a lot of women in midlife. The life that you built in your 20s or 30s doesn't necessarily match the woman that you've become. I for sure identify with that. The goals I had and met, now I'm like, okay, what's next? And what I thought I wanted isn't really what I want. That gap is what you're feeling. Take a moment and ask yourself, what part of your life looks good on paper, but doesn't feel good anymore? Maybe you have to say this out loud to yourself or write it down, but honesty is part of the pivot. This is so important. You need to be honest with where you're at. Because if you tell yourself, I love what I'm doing, but you don't, then you're not helping yourself. Misalignment doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means something's waking up or changing inside you. That's totally normal. All right, sign 2. You crave autonomy more than stability. At some point, you might not want that next title anymore, or you want ownership. That doesn't mean that you have to go start a business tomorrow. It could be what you're looking to do, but that doesn't mean that's what you want to do. Ownership of your time, your direction, your identity, your responsibilities. You might be tired of carrying the goals that others assign to you, and you don't want to ask for permission to grow. Maybe you're finding yourself wanting to build something that reflects your current values, not the values you had 20 years ago, or not the values that have changed every 5 minutes at work, not just your job description. Maybe you're dreaming of things you could create or lead or launch. And these things might be really small. All of those things are okay, but it's a sign. High-achieving women struggle with this because we're conditioned to be reliable, steady, loyal, the one that people go to, the one that's going to help fix everything. We make things work. We hold everything together. A lot of us are doing that at home, at work, maybe in a religious setting. Sometimes you hit a wall and something inside of you just says, I want something that's just mine. And if that's happening to you, pay attention to it. If you identify with this group, think about whether you say it out loud, write it down, think about what would autonomy look like for you in 2026. Doesn't have to be dramatic, just a grounded version of ownership of what is bothering you or what you're seeking in your life. Give that time, reflect on that. Third sign is your energy has shifted. And this can be a subtle change, but it's also very powerful. Sometimes your body is telling you things before your brain does. Maybe things that used to be really easy or fulfilling are difficult or draining or exhausting, maybe a project you dismissed for years suddenly just brings you life and you're so excited. Maybe you're finding a little spark again in an activity or hobby, even in the middle of like everything else that might be draining you. This other thing is so exciting. That might be your curiosity waking back up. And a lot of us, especially just think about all the things women juggle. You have your home, and a lot of the things that you were interested in get buried because you just don't have time for it. It's sometimes fun things or just one more thing to put on your list when you're really busy. This shift in energy is also information. It's evolution. Maybe it's telling you, hey, this is what you're really headed towards. I'll give you an example. I've had days where I'm exhausted from travel or meetings. I'm traveling. I am tired, and it would have been really easy for me. I mean, I'm in a hotel. It would have been really easy for me to come back and just say, I'm done for today. I've had to talk a lot. I've had to meet with a lot of people. I've had work dinners, and all those things are actually kind of fun. This is really important to me, and this is what lights me up is my business. And so it was important to me to make that time today to get this episode done because I skipped a week last week for Thanksgiving, and I don't want to skip another week. I mapped out a podcast episode and made sure that I had time to record it this evening. And even though I'm tired, I actually feel more awake than I probably did at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Those types of sparks, when you're really interested in something, those types of sparks matter, and pay attention to that. Here's your final reflection prompt. What energized you this year and what drained you? Think about those things, and maybe it's multiple things. These things were really exciting. They gave me energy. I looked forward to doing them. And then here's the things that made me feel exhausted. I avoided doing them. I procrastinated. Those were the activities that were draining. Trust whatever pops up first for you. If you ask yourself these things and something immediately comes to mind, don't ignore it. These 3 signs are not random at all. If you feel misaligned, if you're craving autonomy, and your energy shifts are just early indicators that that next version of you is getting ready to come out. Even if you're not ready today for it, you're like, hey, you know what? I've got Christmas coming up or I have New Year's coming up. That's okay. If you really want to make a change next year, you need to get into that mindset. Starting to think about it is really important. If you're not ready, that doesn't mean you're failing. You're starting to evolve. You're brainstorming. These are the things that I'm really passionate about, or I'm really interested in, or I have 10 things that I'm interested in. How am I going to focus? This is the beginning of your pivot, and I'm so excited because this was me about 1.5 years ago, and it's just such a fun thing to go through. Your pivot doesn't start with quitting. Don't think, oh my gosh, she's asking me to go quit my job tomorrow. Absolutely not. It starts with awareness. Today, you're getting that clarity. Next week, we're going to build a pivot plan for 26. And if you're listening to this at a different point in time, whatever year it is, we're going to start a pivot plan. What are you going to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? What strengths do you want to carry into the next year? These are simple, doable, and designed for real life. Before you go, if you want support and figure out your next chapter, grab my Second Act Pathfinder. It's a short, powerful guide to help you get clear on where you're headed and why. The link will be in the show notes. If you found this episode helpful, hit like and subscribe and share it with a friend who's feeling that same pull that you're feeling. Maybe it's a friend that you grab coffee with once a month and you've talked about, I just don't feel fulfilled. I want to do something different. Make sure you send that to her. We'll talk more next week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.